Good morning. I'm just wiping down the outside of my tent. I already wiped down the inside and got all the condensation off the inside. If there's one tip I can give you, it's wipe down the inside of the Ultiplex tent, because I had a ton of condensation yesterday morning when I woke up, wiped it all down, and then when I got to camp last night and got into the tent, it was basically dry on the inside. So I didn't have to deal with not having to touch the walls or being very careful. And then when I went to sleep, I didn't have all that moisture inside the tent getting into my sleep system. So definitely worthwhile, worth the 5 minutes. I slept super warm last night, and I think that's part of the reason. As well, I used my 1/8 inch thick thin light sleeping mat underneath my X-Lite, and I think that added a little bit of warmth as well. So even though it got to the same temperature as the previous night, I was toasty warm last night. I'm gonna finish wiping down the tent, pack up, eat breakfast, and then we got a creek crossing within the first 200 meters. So we're gonna get the feet wet and cold right away. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about the day, because it should be a really interesting and diverse day with a lot of different things going on, and it's my first day hiking alone in a couple days, so we'll see if I end up crying. Looks like I got a few down trees that I could use to cross this creek, maybe keep my feet dry, but the dismount looks like it might be tough. Think I can launch off this? That was a close one. So I launched off there to here, but then the shore gave out on me. I had to tuck and roll to get on. Whew. Probably should have done that. Probably should have turned the camera off, stepped down to there, and hopped over here, but well, it is what it is. If you're wondering why I'm still wearing my rain gear, it's because, as you can see, there's still snow up there, and it's just above freezing temperatures. So it is really cold, even though it looks like the sky is clearing up and we might get some sunshine today. Probably won't get warm. If at all, it'll be in the afternoon. Today starts with a bit of a forest walk. Then we should get out onto a river floodplain, which should be really nice. I love those floodplains. And then the third stage of the day is getting up into the Alpine onto Jack Pine Ridge, which I've heard is one of the most beautiful parts of the GDT. So really excited to get up there. And then the big question mark for the day is, will the sun come out? It's rained the last 3 nights, so my sleep system has a lot of moisture in it. It'd be great to dry it out in the sun. As well, this is my first day in a couple of days hiking alone, so if it's cold and wet, that may end up getting to me. Like, I really just don't like being cold and wet. It just does not do good things for my mental state. So come on, sun. Or maybe I've figured out how to deal with that, and I'll have a better positive attitude. This morning really reinforced to me that I need to be careful. Like, we're getting close to the end here, and it'd be really unfortunate if just a little slip of the mind got me injured and I wasn't able to complete. Like, for this morning, I didn't need to take that risk jumping from that tree. That was completely unnecessary. And walking through this wet forest, I'm just trying to be careful about the wet roots and rocks, and I don't need to go super fast on a lot of these days because they're a little bit lower mileage, so I can just take my time and be careful. We're so close. It'd be really unfortunate to have a twisted ankle or tweaked knee end the trip. So I'm out of the forest, made it to Chown Creek, so we're gonna be crossing this creek and then following it up to Jack Pine Pass and the ridge walking that we're gonna get to do this afternoon. Hopefully the sun comes out a little bit here and I can set up on one of these gravel bars and dry out all my gear. It's parts of the trail like this where I've been super happy to have my Garmin Fenix watch. There's no trail here, so I'm just able to follow the route that I've loaded and make sure that I'm staying on track. This part actually isn't too bad. I'm just heading up the valley following the river. But a couple days ago, Blaze and I were on a part of the trail where you were having to contour different elevations and go around patches of trees, avoid willows. It took a lot of micro navigation, but we were able to follow the watch and make sure that from a macro navigation standpoint, we are still on the trail. And something that's been helping me keep pace this entire time and have the pace that I've been having is just being able to follow the watch sometimes and not have to take my phone out and check and make sure I'm on trail, because some of the parts of the trail are really confusing. Got a little bit of sun. Should get even more shortly here. So I'm gonna take a pretty long break by this beautiful river, great views, and just dry out everything. My quilt, I did not realize how wet it was, but it is like, I could probably squeeze water out of it. There's so much condensation and moisture in it. And I have a lunch that I have to cook, so that's good timing. I get to take my time, cook it up and eat it, and nice hot lunch would be delicious. And then we get to continue down the river and hit Jack Pine Pass. I wanna stand with you on a mountain. I wanna bathe with you in the sea. I wanna lay like this forever until the sky falls down on me. Ooh. Got some aggressive willow bashing going on here, but nothing compared to what apparently we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. Tomorrow is pretty intense from what I hear with regards to the willows, so good to get some practice in. Feels like I'm hiking through a mountain jungle right now. I'm just hiking up streams, through willows. It's hot, humid. Whew. You really go for a machete right now. Clear all these willows out. I made it up and over Best Pass. That was where that beautiful waterfall was and all those willows. From here, I head up somewhere through these trees and then hit Best Shoulder up in here to get some spectacular views, I think. Even from here, it's really nice. That's gonna be a bit of a hike to get up there. Made it up onto Best Shoulder. Phenomenal views. You can actually see the floodplain that we walked up. Beautiful. From here, we're gonna contour around the side of the shoulder here, drop down a little bit, hit a camp, and then continue on just to the right of this tree on the side of the peak that's behind it, onto Jack Pine Ridge and Jack Pine Pass. And there is Jack Pine Pass. That's where we're headed. Looks awesome. Where the heck am I? Wow. I don't think video can truly capture how epic this area is up on Jack Pine Ridge. It's just crazy, and I lucked out so hard getting a sunny day. Wow, definitely worth dealing with 2 days of rain to have sunshine for this. It's beautiful. I slipped back into hiking solo pretty easily. Today was a tough day, way tougher than I thought. It's gonna end up being about 40 kilometers and 2,000 meters of elevation gain, which is not an easy day. I'm gonna be getting into camp pretty late probably. But yeah, it's definitely made me realize a little bit more that it's all a mental game, really. Every time I've been limited on this hike, it's been mental. I think physically I came into it really strong, and I think that allowed me some confidence, but I think it also maybe masked some of my weaknesses in my mental game for a big backpacking trip like this. I just wasn't prepared for the emotional overload, and when you're by yourself, it's a lot harder to process those things. And I think that's one of the reasons why solo backpacking and solo through hiking is so difficult. You're just by yourself trying to process things, and if you're feeling an emotion and you're unable to process it, it's just gonna get stronger and stronger, and eventually that's gonna lead to a breakdown, which you saw me do a couple times so far on this trip. Might happen again, but I think the solution probably is just better understand yourself, better understand your emotions, and understand what your emotions are telling you day to day. Plan from here, I think, is to continue through this rock valley and then cut across that green and then drop down right where those trees are, down to Blueberry Lake. And there's Blueberry Lake, home for the night. Made it to camp, Blueberry Lake. That might have been one of the toughest physical days on trail so far. That just beat me right up. My feet hurt, my knees hurt, my hips hurt. I'm just sore, my back hurts. I'm just sore all over. So I'm gonna have to make sure I get a good stretch in today, because tomorrow I have a lot of willow whacking to do. Apparently it's the worst section for having to bash through willows on the entire trail. So that might break my soul, but we'll see you guys in the morning.